We get it. You would like to stay in office, and you would like to stay in office backed by people who then you can pursue that agenda as long as you're finding alignment. So forget the rhetoric, forget the speech making that we would all do, and say, okay, we will have money, and it will go to you if you're backing this as a political priority, and it will go to the opposite of you if you're not.
You know, I'm from DC, and I know a lot of people there, and I think, you know, you got to go to funerals. The individual candidates were essentially a vehicle to execute a political objective, which was to tilt toward Madigan. So the press never picked up on it. We endorsed 9 individuals, and 6 of them were Democrats, 3 Republicans, and tilted our money toward Madigan, who was expecting, because of Bruce Rauner's leadership, and Bruce is a Republican, that all of our money was going to go to Republicans. That was really a show of an indication to him that we could be a new partner to take the place of the Illinois Federation of Teachers. That was the point. Luckily, it never got covered that way. That wouldn't work well in Illinois. Madigan's not particularly well liked. It did work. After the election, Advance Illinois and STAND had drafted a very bold proposal we called Performance Counts. It tied tenure and layoffs to performance. It let principals hire who they choose. It streamlined dismissal of ineffective tenured teachers substantially, from 2+ years, $200,000+ in legal fees on average, to 3 to 4 months, with very little likelihood of legal recourse. And most importantly, we called for the reform of collective bargaining throughout the state, essentially proposing that school boards would be able to decide any disputed issue at impasse. So a very, very bold proposal for Illinois, and one that 6 months earlier would have been unthinkable, undiscussable. Now, after the election, I went back to Madigan, and I reviewed the proposal that we'd already discussed, and I confirmed his support. He said he was supportive. The next day, he created an education reform committee, and his political director called to ask for our suggestions of who should be on it. Senator Kimberly Lightford, who's been a reliable supporter of unions and in the middle of education policymaking, intervened. She has a lot of clout in the Senate. She helped elect the Senate President, John Cullerton, and she forced groups to the table. The unions were thrilled to come to the table and to discuss things that, again, 9 months earlier, they would not have been willing to discuss. Karen Lewis, the head of the Chicago Teachers Union, who's a diehard militant, was focused on maintaining her sense of her members' right to strike. Her sense was that binding arbitration was giving away the right to strike. But our next proposal, our next best, which was a very high threshold for strikes, for whatever reason, tactical miscalculation on her part, was palatable. Ron pushed it. Kimberly Lightford pushed it. We'd done our homework. We knew that the highest threshold of any bargaining unit that had voted one way or the other on a collective bargaining agreement, on a contract vote, was 48.3%. The threshold that we were arguing for was 3/4. So in effect, they wouldn't have the ability to strike, even though the right was maintained. And so in the end game, the Chicago Teachers Union took that deal, misunderstanding, probably not knowing the statistics about voting history. And the length of day and year was no longer bargainable. Make their year longer and their day longer is, the soonest would be January, and it's probably, we're talking September 12th.
You may be hearing about this topic again because of that, and trying to lengthen the day with paying people, while paying people no more, is obviously going to stress things.
So we talk about, you know, a process that ends up achieving transformational change. It's going to allow the new mayor and the new CEO to lengthen the day and year as much as they want. The unions cannot strike in Chicago. They will never be able to muster the 75%.
I'm here today because Arne Duncan, Davis Guggenheim, the director of Waiting for Superman, Oprah, Bill Gates, and a bunch of other very wealthy, powerful people have launched a campaign to slander and demonize American teachers and American public education. Yes. You are not the problem. I would invite them to walk in your shoes for a week. Yes.
If you're the communication director, you've got that promise by Barack Obama out there. Let's play it again. I want to play this again. No, it's not play it one more time. Hey, take Arnie, take notes. Roll it.
And understand this, if American workers are being denied their right to organize and collectively bargain when I'm in the White House, I'll put on a comfortable pair of shoes myself. I'll walk on that picket line with you as President of the United States of America.